Hi students, this is Nurse Campbell. So this week's challenge is called Vitamin D Days, and how we get our vitamin D is through being outside. It's through sitting in the sunlight. And so make sure that you take some time and that you go outside every single day and for at least 20 minutes sit out in the sunlight so your body can make vitamin D. Now, what is vitamin D? So we hear a lot about, different kinds of vitamins and minerals, and what vitamin D does is it works with all of those, and especially calcium. So have you heard of calcium? Have you heard about it being in milk and how it makes your bones strong? Well, actually it needs vitamin D to do that. Vitamin D helps your body, build strong bones. It also helps with your immune system, which means it helps keep you healthy. And also, it's just been shown to improve your mental health, help you feel better, less stressed, lower blood pressure if you just go outside, enjoy nature for a while, or maybe even go for a walk. So, today I am sitting outside. I have some milk, some calcium with me, and I'm going to read you a story all about bones. So let's start.
All right, so this story is about bones. It says, you can't see your bones with binoculars. Do you see how he's using binoculars to try and see his name? Yep, doesn't happen. You need an x-ray to do that. So let's get into this so we can learn more about bones. Oh, how cool. That's the skeleton. That's an x-ray of it. It says you can't see your bones with binoculars, but a radiologist can surely see them on an x-ray. Babies have about 450 bones at birth, but by the time they're your age, they only have 206. Why? Because many bones, like those in the skull, grow together. Come on a guided tour of all the bones in your body. Look at the x-rays, but also make sure to stop and run your hand along the bone or bones being described. The head bone is connected to the neck bones. Put your hands around your head and push. Hard, isn't it? That's because your brain needs to be protected, and the bones in your skull do quite the job. If your skull was soft like a ripe cantaloupe, your brain could get mushed, and then you would have a very bad day. Your skull, with 29 bones, has special holes for your eyes, your ears, your nose, and your mouth. If your skull were full of seeds like a watermelon, a vine could come out your ears and nose. Look how cool that is. That's your skull. So see, your skull is protecting your brain, and that's for your eyes. Your nose would go there, and that's your mouth. You can tell because of teeth. The neck bones are connected to the shoulder bones. So put your finger on the back of your neck. The hard things you feel are the neck bones, also known as cervical vertebrae. Each vertebrae has a hole in the middle for the spinal cord to go through. Turn your head from side to side and up and down. The bones move. Do you see all the bones? All right. The topmost neck bone holds up to your head. No, not your cantaloupe, Charlie. It's called the atlas, and it's named after the giant who holds the world on his shoulders in a Greek story. Do you see the giant? He's holding the world. The shoulder bones are connected to the back bones. Put your hand on your shoulder and move your arm around. If it feels complicated, you're right. The shoulder is very complicated. Bones called the clavicle and the scapula come together to form a socket. The ball at the top of the other bone, called the humerus, rotates so that you can move your arm in all directions. So do you see it? That's the ball they're talking about. So it's round, so it can move. So when she moves her arm up and down, that ball moves. This stays still, this part right here, that's called the socket, and so the ball can move, and she can move up and down like that. Pitchers have trouble with their rotator cuffs, which are muscles that hold the shoulders together. This trouble is because nobody told the muscles that they were supposed to throw baseballs at 100 miles per hour. Wow! The backbones are connected to the hip bone. It's hard to feel your own backbone, but it's quite easy if you move your fingers down someone else's. The bumps you feel are the vertebrae, not walnuts, unless you have a really weird mind. It's hard to feel all 24 of them, but it's worth a try. Just as the skull protects your brain, the main task of the backbone is to protect your spinal cord. Do you see it? It looks just like the one in the neck. Oh, and they have these heavy backpacks to carry. That can't be good. It's not healthy to carry a heavy backpack all the time. The hip bone is connected to the thigh bone. Start at your neck and move your fingers down your chest. Your ribs are bones that move when you breathe. You have 12 pairs of them and they make a cage. Is there a canary inside? No, there are 2 lungs and a heart in the middle. You'll soon arrive at the belly and the big squishy place where your liver, spleen, intestine, stomach, and other terrific things hang out. None of these are bony. So you see that it looks like a cage? That's your rib cage. And this blob in the middle, that's your heart. And you can kind of see right here, that's 1 lung. And right here, that's the 2nd lung. So you have 2 lungs and a heart. First thing you hit below your belly is your hip bone, or pelvis, which is made up of 6 bones. The rounded hard point that pokes out on each side is the anterior superior iliac crest. If you use this word at a dinner table, everyone will be impressed. But do not try to say it with your mouth full of food. So that is the crest. I think they were named because they supposed to look like waves. The thigh bone is connected to the knee bone. The thigh bone is the biggest and heaviest bone you have. Wow, look at that. It's hard to feel your thigh bone or femur because it's covered by big muscles, which you need for walking, jumping, and running away from alligators. The knee bone is connected to the leg bones. Kneel on a hard floor. After a while, your kneecaps or patellas will probably start to hurt because there's only skin and not much padding on them. So I don't know if you can see it very well in this photo. We see these 2 leg bones that are being connected, and the knee bone is right in the middle. It's a little circle. I don't think you can see these very well. All these people wear different kinds of knee pads to protect their knees. If you're going to sneak out of the house on your hands and knees, be sure to wear knee pads. Football players wear knee pads, gardeners wear knee pads, hockey goalies, oh, they have all kinds of pads. And carpenters, they wear knee pads too, so they don't start to hurt. The leg bones are connected to the ankle bones. There are actually 2 bones in the lower leg, the tibia and the fibula. You can feel the tibia at the front of your lower leg. It's the shin bone that hurts a whole lot when your little brother kicks you. The fibula is on the little toe. The fibula is on the little toe side of your leg, and it's harder to feel because it's much smaller, but give it a try anyways. Ouch, my tibia! That's not nice. His brother actually did kick him in the tibia. The ankle bones are connected to the foot bones. The protrusions, it never hurts to learn a new word, that people think are the ankles are actually part of the leg bones. The ankle bones are hidden away where you can't really feel them. So those protrusions, that's the new word, those are things that stick out. So when people say that those are the ankles, they're really part of the legs. So you can see, that's probably one that we see are these leg bones right here. That's what sticks out. But our ankle bone is down here. They do, however, have neat names like navicular and calcaneus and cuneiform, but if you tell your friends you know all this, they will think you're terribly nerdy and won't talk to you for a week. Aw, I don't think that's true. I think some friends would find it cool. But that's just me, maybe. The foot bones are connected to the toe bones. There are 26 bones in your foot. Metatarsals are on the flat front part and phalanges in the 5 toes. Because your foot is so bony, you can probably feel a lot of them. Wiggle those toes. Do you see your phalanges move? Run your hand over the top of your foot. Do you feel the 5 metatarsals, one from each toe? The arm bones are connected to the wrist bones. The arm is similar to the leg. There is one large bone in the upper arm, the humerus, which ends in the funny bone. As you probably know, it's not all that funny when you bump this bone. That's because you are hitting the nerve that runs along it. Ouch! There are two bones in the lower arm, the radius and the ulna. Try to feel both of them. The radius is easy, the ulna is more difficult because it's the smaller one of the two. The wrist bones are connected to the hand bones, and the hand bones are connected to the finger bones. There are 27 bones in your hands. Metacarpals on the flat front part and phalanges on the fingers. Because your hand is quite bony, you can feel a lot of them. Bend those fingers. Do you see your phalanges move? Make sure you bend at each joint. So what they're talking about is how you can bend at both joints right there. Do you see it? You can see the bone stick out when you bend like that. You can do that too. And then, so those are the 3 joints we just saw. And then there's a longer one, and then there's all of these bones right here. There's 27 bones in your hand. That's crazy. Run the fingers of your left hand over the top of your right hand. Do you feel the 5 metacarpals, one from each finger? There are 8 bones in the wrist. Among those are capitate, hamate, and trapezoid. You can't see your bones with binoculars. No, you can't see your bones with binoculars, but if you are injured, a doctor can see your bones after x-rays are taken. A bad fall or an accident can cause any of your bones to break. The area around the broken bone becomes swollen and painful. Your bones are made out of living cells, just like every other part of your body except your hair and nails. When you break a bone, a blood clot soon forms around the 2 broken ends of the bone. A process begins where the bone cells start making new bones. A body repair cell will come make new bones and knit together a broken bone without any help from a doctor. But unless the bone is set in exactly the same position, usually with a cast, and then kept that way for a while, the bone may not heal properly. A person may end up with one arm shorter than the other or a crooked leg. With the help of x-rays, the doctor can set the broken bone in exactly the right position. Later, another set of x-rays will show the doctor when the 2 ends of the broken bone are mended, and then the cast can be removed. So this says dim bones, cranium, vertebrae, clavicle, let's point to that one, scapula, that's your shoulder bone, rib cage, we talked about that, your humerus right there, radius, there's a smaller one, ulna is the bigger one, your metacarpals, your phalanges, don't forget about those. Your pelvis, did you remember that that was called when it looks like waves? It's the crest, superiliac crest. And we have carpals and your wrists. Oh, there's a phalanges. Femur, patella, there's your kneecap. This shows a lot better in this picture. Tibia is the big one that hurts when you get kicked. And the fibula is the small one you might not be able to feel. Tarsals are your ankles. Metatarsals are going down further your foot, and then phalanges are your toes. So isn't that so cool? We just learned all about bones, and look, there's even more. Backbones and ribs. So this is comparing the human skeleton that we just went over, how cool, to a snake skeleton. Can you see how that looks kind of similar to our backbone? So a person has 206 bones. A snake has double that number, especially a long snake with a lot of ribs and vertebrae. What bones do you have that the snake does not? So when you think about the snake, it just looks like one large spine. Do you see any arms or legs? Do you see any hip bones? No, so I think that we have all of these extra bones, these arms, legs, toes, and a snake don't have any of that. All right, next page. Oh, sorry. Foot bones. A frog has long toes. So this is a frog skeleton. It looks like a frog. What does a frog do with the long toes? So it probably used those long toes to jump. A dog has 4 toes. A human has 5 toes. What else is different about the dog foot and the human foot? Oh, so this is the dog foot. So there's 4. It says, what do you think this is? This is another tiny bone. I think a trunk. It looks really similar though. Right? I mean different, but similar. Hand bones. A bat has wing, a fish has fin. Neither animal has a thumb, which makes the human hand special. What does your thumb allow you to do that animals without thumbs can't do? Right? Have you ever tried to grab something without using your thumb? It would be really hard. It's much easier when you use your thumb to do it. How would your life be different if you did not have thumbs? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So it has 5 fingers like us, but that's way different. And then the fish has fins. How cool do those look? Wow. Head bones. Look at the animal skulls. Look at the human skull. A big difference is the amount of space for a brain. A human brain weighs about 3 pounds. The skull needs to be large enough to protect it and store it. Do you think there's a connection between the size of the skull and brain power? Wow. So this is ours. And they're showing you how small the mouse skull is. A bird, very small. A snake, and a crocodile. Skeletons on the outside. Some animals have skeletons outside their bodies, such as those pictured below. Can you think of others? Exoskeletons protect animals and insects from the environment and other animals. So exoskeletons are skeletons outside their body. Another name for exoskeleton is shell. What animals can you think of that have shells? Can you imagine if humans had exoskeletons? We'd be looking like we had shells too. So this is a cicada exoskeleton, a snail exoskeleton, that's cool, and a crab exoskeleton. So whose bones do you think these are? What do you think about this one? I can imagine a sound when I see that. I imagine going roar, right? That's a dinosaur, a T-Rex to be specific. But they're not around anymore. It's cool we have the bones to remember them by though. And this looks like a baby bird to me. What about you? This looks like an ostrich. Can you imagine it with all of its feathers and its big long legs when it gets to running? And this one, it looks kind of like a person, but kind of not. Makes me think it's a monkey of some kind. Oh, there's answers right here. Let's turn the book around and see. So that first one, it was a T-Rex. That was it. The second one, it was a chick. It was a baby chicken. The third one, it was an ostrich. And the fourth one, it was a monkey. Wow, we got those all right. Oh. And that was it. So thank you so much for reading that with me. I hope you learned a lot about bones and that you can't see them with binoculars. You have to go to a doctor instead.
So I hope you never have to experience needing an x-ray, because that would probably mean you hurt yourself enough to have a doctor take a closer look. But it is good to know that your body can heal naturally if you get hurt. And that the vitamin D and calcium, that actually plays an important role in that. So if you get a bruise on your bone, or if you do get a broken bone, you got to make sure you're drinking all of that milk and being out in the sun so your bones can heal correctly in their cast. All right, that was it for today. I hope you have a gorgeous walk out in the sunshine and enjoy it. And remember, every single day this week, you got to be out in that sun. All right, bye.